My personality confuses people. I enjoy being alone a lot, but I'm very outgoing and social. My environment dictates how I behave. Sometimes I'm loud. Sometimes I'm quiet. I read the energy and adjust. There are times when I want to turn up, and there are moments where I want to read a good book or process my thoughts alone.
Life is pain! I wake up every morning, I'm in pain. I go to work in pain. You know how many times I wanted to just give up? How many times I've thought about ending it?
Don't be so sad. I know it's hard sometimes. Stop and take a deep breath. I promise it'll be okay. I love you.
Failure has made me who I am today. Failure gives you two choices. You stay down or you get up. Well, I'm up and I am fired up because I have figured it out.
When you lose your money, you lose nothing. When you lose your health, you lose something. When you lose your character, you lose everything.
Hey, in case no one's told you lately, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for pushing through everything that you're going through. You are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for, and you are capable of doing anything in this world. I believe in you.
I don't care who's doing better than me, because I'm doing better than I was last year. It's me against me, okay?
来，起来！你一定要记住啊，下次如果他要是双手从背后这么抱紧你，你第一时间一定要握紧他的双手，身体下压，然后双脚成为工字步交叉，握紧他的手腕，抓住他的后腰，相反的方向摔倒他，这样就能控制住他，明白了吗？
明白了。
来试一次。
The thing I find most tricky is when people don't recognize you particularly, but half recognize you. You know, it's that strange thing of where they go. And of course that means they stare. They stare a lot, and they just look. I said, "Excuse me, has anyone ever told you that you're the absolute spitting image of that Mr. Bean?" I said, "Well, actually, I am the actor who plays Mr. Bean." And he said, "I bet you wish you were."
Good men exist. The only reason why a whole bunch of women are not finding them is because good men do not go to clubs. They do not go to bars. They do not go where there is going to be chaos. Good men stay at home, where they know they have some peace and quiet. Because good men value their peace. Good men also keep their circle of friends small because they can tell the difference between a good person and a bad person. If they associate with a bad person, then they're not a good person now, are they? Good men value the friendships that they have, and they value what they believe in. So good men are not going to be surrounding themselves with bad people because that would ruin their peace. They would prefer to be with a small group of friends who have the same values as them, who value peace. A lot of good men also stay at home with their wives and children because they value families. A lot of good men also go to church because they know that that's where their values lie. Because they know that church is what makes them a good man. So if you want to know where all the good men are, they're sticking to themselves because they value their peace and quiet.
If you ever ask a man how he's doing, and he says, "I'm alright," I'm here to tell you, that man isn't alright. That man is battling demons that you can't even possibly imagine. That man is struggling every single day to find a reason to keep going. And the reason we say we're alright is because as a man, nobody really fucking cares what you're going through. So why even bother to say it? But you know what? I feel you, brother, because I'm alright too.
There are 4 things you need to know before you go out into the world. You remember these things and you'll be the best person you can be. First, look at this pencil. We know that in order for it to become a useful pencil, that from time to time, again and again, it's going to have to go through a resharpening. Well, if this pencil could feel, we could imagine how painful that would be. But that's what it takes for it to be a useful pencil. Life is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it is through these opportunities that we build character and we grow. Second is to keep in mind that we'll be able to correct many of the mistakes you make along the way, just like this eraser. So if we learn from our mistakes, they're not mistakes. They're lessons we can use to do better the next time around. And third, just like this pencil, every place where you are used, so to speak, you leave your mark. You're writing your own story. And fourth, always remember, the most important part of you is what's inside.
My parents have been married for over 35 years and they are still head over heels in love with each other. So here are some things that I noticed about the relationship that I really truly believe helped it to thrive. The first thing I noticed is that they never stopped dating each other. The next thing I noticed about them is that instead of getting annoyed or irritated about the little things, they just laugh about it. They find the humor in it. I also noticed when growing up, when it came to arguments that they had with each other, even the heated ones, they never insulted each other and they always tried to keep their tone down. So there was never really yelling or screaming. It was more of an active discussion where they would both sit down and try to resolve the problem together as a team. And when one needed a few hours to cool off, the other one would give them that space. But in the end, they always worked together to resolve the problem. Another thing I noticed is that they always had each other's backs. Like, for example, when my mom really wanted to get her doctorate in psychology, my father busted his ass working to make sure that we could make ends meet while she went to school. Then, 10 years later, when my dad wanted to start his nonprofit and he wasn't really bringing in money at the time, my mother worked full-time as a therapist to make sure that they were able to get all their bills in and they were able to afford the things they needed to afford. They took turns supporting each other's dreams. I also found it really amazing how they worked together through hardships. They were never each other's enemies, they were always each other's friends. And they always had this mindset of, we'll get through this together, we'll get through this as a team. So no one ever felt alone. Oh, but you know what I love so much about this marriage and being able to see how they treat each other? So, my dad is a hopeless romantic, and he remembered that my mom as a child used to go sailing. It was something that she really loved to do, something that just made her really, really happy. So my dad sold one of his favorite cars, which if you know my dad, that's a really big deal because he loves his cars. But he sold his car to be able to afford this sailboat. And he didn't tell my mom what he was doing, he just went ahead and did it. The day finally came where he was going to present this boat to her, but instead of just taking her to the boat, he instead took her on a date to a really good barbecue restaurant so that they could get really, really full on all the best foods that they had there. And then he took her and was like, here's the sailboat. And this wasn't even early on in the marriage, this was like 30 years into the marriage that he did this for her. Neither of them ever needed a special occasion to do something for their partner or to treat them right. They didn't wait till an anniversary to do something nice for them. They would just do it. And I remember one of the most powerful things my father ever said to me was after my relationship ended a year ago. He sat me down, I was tears, I was just an absolute wreck, and he looks at me and he says to me, find yourself a best friend. That's how I feel about your mama, and I couldn't imagine my life without her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. Find yourself someone that feels this way about you.
Araw-araw kang tumatakbo sa isip ko, at alam mo bang ikaw ang nagpapasaya? Ngumiti ka lang sa akin at nahulog na. Anong magagawa? Laging natutulala lang. Tuwing lumalapit ka, tuwing lumalapit ka, ako ay natutuwa. Kahit di sinasadya, pero kung muna sa'yo, magkasama ka.
I have worked while you have slept. I have learned while you have partied. I have saved while you have spent. And I will live like you dream. I am relentless. I am resilient. I will not back down. I will not surrender. I am now an agent of change and transformation. I am your replacement.
If you could leave me with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Make mistakes, but don't regret them. Learn from them.
Sa inuman may batas. Ang pulutan ay pulutan. Tagay muna bago mamulutan. Hindi yung tumagay ng isa, namulutan, namulutan, namulutan. Inubos yung pulutan. Ang masama, biglang nagpaalam.
If you want to be wealthy and happy the rest of your life, just learn this lesson well. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
You can buy a house,
Yeah.
but not a home. With money, you can buy a clock, but not time. With money, you can buy a bed, but not sleep. With money, you can buy food, but not appetite. With money, you can buy a doctor, but not good health. With money, you can have insurance, but not safety. And this is the problem that we all have. There are things that you cannot buy with material wealth, with money.
I have loved, I have lost, and I have changed. It has been difficult, but I have learned so much from it. I have learned that people can hurt you so deeply and not even worry about you. I learned that good people can change in a minute when their hearts have been broken. I've met great people, but mean people as well. But the most important thing I have learned is that every person in this world is strong enough to let go. People come and go, and that's life. The most important thing is to stand up and realize that you deserve something better than a person who gives up on you.
But through practice and practice and practice, practice makes what? Absolutely not. Dismantle that belief system. Practice makes improvement. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. You'll never hit a state of perfection.